I finished Blue Eye Samurai last Saturday, and goddamn, it's the shit. This will contain spoilers for episode 1 through 5 and no spoilers for episodes 6 through 8. Season 1 of Blue Eye Samurai released in November, and was greenlit for a second season in December. Not only is that a quick turnaround time, it's also uncommon for Netflix to, greenlight anything for a second season. So now as we wait for a second season of this show, which could be like 3 or 5 years down the line, I just wanted to give a little review of a little bit of it, and especially focus on episode 5, which is my favorite. First off, Blue Eye Samurai is a show about Mizu, a mixed-race samurai with a goal to kill the 4 white people who were in Japan at the time of her birth. While following Mizu, we meet many other characters like Ringo, Akemi, Taiken, Madame Kaji, Swordfather, and the main antagonist of Season 1, Abijah Fowler. Overall, the show is fantastic, and I could rant about all of it for a long time, especially if I did it in this format. That would be like a 10 to 15 minute long thing per episode. That's too long, no one wants that. So I've decided to focus on episode 5. And while talking about episode 5, I will mostly be ranting about the story of it, the characters, and the symbolism that is used. Also, I will talk a little bit about how much I love the animation. And since I'm talking about episode 5, you will still have 3 episodes that are completely unspoiled for you to go and watch after I tell you about how good this show is. To summarize what has happened to this point, Mizu has been searching for Fowler and has made a lot of enemies, most of which are trying to kill her, including Akemi, whose marriage with Taiken was ruined by Mizu, and in the previous episode, Akemi attempted to poison Mizu. Mizu does have one friend, Ringo. Less of a friend, he's more just trying to be great at something and is attempting to be her apprentice, but, neither here nor there. In the search for Abijah Fowler, she has come across Madame Kaji, a brothel owner who served Fowler, we'll say. In the previous episode, in exchange for information, Mizu had to kill a girl that was deaf and mute, and that was once under Kaji's protection, but was currently owned by the local mob boss, Hamata. After killing the girl, Mizu is seen by a young boy, and after sparing him, this boy leads Hamata to Madame Kaji, where episode 5 begins with a big battle about to take place. Lastly, there are many scenes of Mizu's childhood and her raising, mostly with her with Swordfather, as she believes that her mother died in a fire when she was significantly younger. But there are still a lot of gaps that we don't really know about what happened between her leaving Swordfather and where we are today. Finally, let's just talk about the story of episode 5. This story follows 3 plots. The attack on Madame Kaji, I'll mostly be focusing on Mizu's fighting. Number 2, the story of a Ronin and his bride, told through Bunraku puppets. And number 3, parts of Mizu's life between leaving Swordfather and the beginning of this series. These 3 parts intertwine with each other. The Bunraku are used to depict Mizu and her story. In the beginning, she is depicted as the Ronin, even having murders shown in the play be the ones that Mizu commits in current day. Fuck, that rhymes. After dedicating his life to kill the people that killed his master, the Ronin sees a beautiful woman and is distracted from a mission and ends up marrying her. On the other hand, Mizu vowed to kill the white men that were in the country at the time of her birth and that she also believes killed her mother. But, voila, here comes Mizu's mother, completely fine. Well, she has burns, but she's not dead. This will begin kind of a break between the Bunraku and the story, as from here on, these characters are kind of muddied as to who they are representing from the Bunraku to the actual story. As any good mother does, Mizu abandons her as a child, thinking it will help her grow up. And current day, after stealing Mizu's money, she guilt trips her.
You see, I'd do anything for you.
Into marrying a transgressed samurai who
raises horses for the Lord,
in the hopes of regaining his status. On day 1 of the marriage, he also doesn't attempt to sleep with Mizu, saying that he is...
I'm not a brute.
In the current day, Mizu is fighting the Arma sent by Hamada, but she gets stabbed, and after getting away, she decides to spare another kid while remembering the good parts of her relationship with Mikio, but then she gets jumped again. Sorry, but actually, I have one question for people who, if anybody has any idea how the production happened or anything about sword stuff, how did this work? Did she do a backflip? What exactly happened here? I'm genuinely confused. I watched it a couple times, my eyes are slow, but still, what? Anyways, she continues fighting until she's strangled and passes out until Akemi kills this guy. Back in the past, Mikio, the samurai, and Mizu's relationship has grown, with Mikio giving her the best horse he's ever raised.
Kai is too good for any lord. Kai is yours.
She kisses him and they sleep together. Mind you, this is after months of her bad cooking and her helping him out with the farm. They have grown as people. After sleeping together, Mizu tells him about her past and what she did and who she really has been, and he asks her to show him. Once she does show him, he gets scared. He is a warrior who has seen battle, and not only does he recognize that she is good at what she does, he recognizes that she likes it. And in this moment where he's very caught up in his emotions, he says,
"You are a monster."
The Bunraku mimic this with the wife showing her true colors, and the Ronin remembering his mission, and then killing her and her son. But this could either be interpreted as Mizu realizing Mikio doesn't truly accept her, and then her killing him, or it could be Mikio realizing who Mizu truly is, and his possibility of betraying her. In the present, Mizu wakes up, sends Akemi off, and begins to face the rest of the army inside. Until she is sent outside and realizes, goddamn, that's a lot more people. Back in the past, Mizu is putting on makeup in hopes to appease Mikio once he gets back. But there is Mizu's mother, who somehow has her medicine, even though
There isn't enough for my medicine.
she was not given the money for it. And she tells Mizu that Mikio took all of the horses, even the one that he gave Mizu. Outside, a group of samurai arrive to kill Mizu, and around the same time, Mikio also arrives, but he abandons Mizu to fight alone, where she begins to cry as she fights these men, bloodying not only her face, but her dress, and therefore symbolizing the end of what she believes is their relationship. After killing all of the samurai, both Mikio and Mizu's mother arrive, blaming each other for the arrival of the samurai. Mizu just walks away as they fight, and Mikio stabs Mizu's mother. She then just kills Mizuo as he is a blur in the background. During this, the Bunraku depict the Ronin killing his child and wife, but the wife becomes an onryo and is now shown to depict Mizu current day as she kills the rest of the army. The episode ends with Akemi being taken by samurai back to her father, and Ringo leaving Mizu due to her being unhonorable in his eyes. This continues with the end of the Bunraku play, showing that it was the shogun's personal play where Akemi is, and Akemi has black teeth, symbolizing the loss of her youth and the beginning of a marriage. Akemi also says that she has met an onryo, and they could never truly love. This episode fucking slaps. The use of Bunraku allows for symbolism that would otherwise be non-existent, and the change from Mizu of being the Ronin to the bride leaves a lot of that play up to interpretation as to who is who and what is what, and so on and so forth. I have seen a lot of people talk about how these flashbacks to Mizu's past may just be a dream. And I see where you're coming from. When Mizu originally sees her mother, she has just been stabbed, and when thinking back on this current day, she's in the middle of a stressful fight in which pretty much everyone else doesn't think she can win. So this could all just be Mizu imagining what would have happened if she had had a different life. But I would disagree, and I think this is perfectly summed up by the last line from the narrator of the Bunraku play.
Hate alone was not enough. It took one more ingredient. Love. Poisoned by betrayal.
Mizu's distrust of others wouldn't have just come from killing one of the white men. If anything, that would have just made it subdue a little more. But a betrayal by people that she loved would cause her to feel more assured in her path and not so trusting of others. One last side note is that at the end of the last episode, she spared a kid, and that caused her to have to kill a lot of people in this episode, and it put other people's lives in danger. And then, after remembering the good times of her relationship with Mikio, she spares this kid too. But at the end of the episode, after remembering the betrayal that she's had, and after fighting this entire fight, she finds another kid, hiding in a corner, shivering. And she kills him without a second's hesitation. All of this stuff just convey a depth of understanding of this world and the story and these characters. And the action, I won't rant about it too much because I've been playing clips in the background of this episode for so long, but it is fantastically fluid and animated amazingly. One of my favorite moments is when Mizu uses leverage to throw this guy off of a makeshift naginata and then uses it to stand up. There's not much. This is at the end of the fight. Everybody's already dead, but just the use of leverage just makes it feel grounded. I had genuinely forgotten why I wanted to write this script until I began rewatching episode 5, and it hooked me from the very beginning. This is easily one of my favorite recent shows with just all around amazing moments. And so I hope you go watch it. There's not much that I've spoiled for episode 1 through 4 and nothing that has been spoiled for episode 6 through 8. So just go watch it. Even if you use piracy, I just want other people to enjoy this masterpiece, and I want to see it continue to get season after season until the story is wrapped up well. Anyways, I have been your host, Silas Jackson. This has been Recency Bias, and I will see you guys next week. Later.